Roger Clemens joins us right now, and this segment brought to you by Tisa, powered by Tisa. More information on the back end of the combo. Roger, great to have you back on, man, on obviously a very special day. And I'll kind of lay it out for you. I don't know how much you caught of what we were going over, just some of the kind of either fresh candidates or guys that have a shot to get in this year to the Hall of Fame. Do you have any opinions when you look at the list of guys you feel like definitely belong in there, or some that are a little more questionable that might not make it?
Yeah, I don't even know what today is. I don't pay attention to it, so uh, I didn't catch what you guys are leading into. Is today a day they vote on guys or guys get in, or what's the deal today?
They're getting the announcement today. So the votes are in, and we'll find out who gets in, right? So
Yeah.
that'll be, at least at the moment, it's tracking for Beltre's a lock. Adrian Beltre's first year on the ballot, he's getting in. Joe Mauer looks like he's going to get in his first year on the ballot. And then we also showed Billy Wagner kind of on the edge there, and that's who I was just referring to. Gary Sheffield's kind of on the edge as well, and this is his last attempt at the ballot. And then also Todd Helton looks like he's going to get in. I mean, for me, I don't know if you caught any of the back end of that. Do you feel like relief pitchers deserve to be in the Hall of Fame if they are, elite status for a long period of time? Because we got to go past Mariano and Trevor Hoffman, don't we?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I just think about I don't know their numbers at all. I barely know. I barely even paid attention to mine while I was doing it. But the I know the person more, the player, watching the player and longevity and stuff like that. When you mention those guys' names, that I would think that they would have a shot at being in there for sure.
I want to ask you this. Besides the Hall of Fame, I got two kids. I've always wanted to ask you this. Good to see you. First off,
Good to see
you
you,
got kids playing baseball that are older, that are going out there trying to do the best of their ability. And for me, I got two young boys coming up. I've always wanted to ask a question to a guy like you, especially being a professional ball player. What is it that you do? Is there something that you made sure your kids knew and understand as you're growing up, as they're growing up? Never to take things seriously, always have fun. Is there something that you always depicted in them and like, listen, this is the Clemens way. Go out there and be your best. Like, give me a piece of advice for young athletes out there, especially kids that are going to have to live up to that future name.
Yeah, well, Tyler, great question. But they always tell. What's great is they're hitters. I was a pitcher. They said the only thing Dad knew anything about hitting advice, that I was a good bunter. So that's where they got me all the time. But man, I coached them up when they were little. I think once they got to high school, you just turned them loose. They were baseball savvy. They had it down pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I just always tried to keep it fun because I wanted them to realize how hard it was. Knowing that I always tease them that one of my lines, you're going to suck a lot at this game, just suck a little less than the next guy. And so they really enjoy it. The oldest one played 10 years. He's teaching. I think everything hits home now as they got a little bit older. A few of the things that when I took my dad hat off and I put my professional hat on, when they asked me they'd have, we got a bunch of guys, major leaguer, minor league guys throwing right now here in Houston, at my place here in Houston. And when they ask me a pointed question, I try to give them a pointed answer. But other than that, I stay out of the way, give them some real good hot points as far as the pitching goes, with your shoulder, your chin, your direction that you're doing. So I still love messing with them. But yeah, I think that the best thing about the boys is they're doing it. I mean, you coach them up and then let them whatever mistakes they make or realize how difficult it is. I think you grab them after the game and go over some hot points and then move on. So um, I worry about right now is not mine, but the younger guys. I just gave. I was in Birmingham with Smoltzy and Charles Barkley. We gave Dr. Andrews retiring, and Doc was making comments on how many. He can't believe how many Tommy John surgeries he's doing on young kids, and we've always encouraged him to set the glove down, maybe play multiple sports, but at least set the glove down, give your arm a little bit of a break, and so those are some of the things that we talk about when the guys come over here again and get detailed. We'll correct their grips. I'm talking about 12-year-olds to maybe freshmen in college will, regrip the baseball in their hand because it's off. And just remind them that you don't have to throw 100. I know all the guys, a lot of guys throw 100 now, quite a few of them in the major leagues. But, that's the last thing you need. You need to be able to be a strike thrower, and you need some movement, and velocity comes in there a little bit later. So, but they're doing all these crazy drills. I told them to get back to doing your core work and playing long toss. And, that's how I developed, how my speed picked up over the years when I was in college by basically playing long toss, the distance running, the core work. So, the youngsters are great. Watching the boys play at the highest level, Cody's with the Phillies. Casey had just retired from the Blue Jay. He's doing some work with Teza and some other stuff. He's dabbling in a number of other things and trying to actually get on, possibly get a PGA Tour card. And Kobe, the oldest one, he made me Poppy Rocket. I got twin. He's got twin grand boys, 7. So I'm Poppy Rocket now. So they're coming next. We're already throwing them some footballs, and they dragged me out there to throw to them. So we're busy.
Rocket, you're talking about, do you know what the numbers 100 to 88 means?
100 to 88?
Mm-hmm.
Not where I finish in a golf tournament, I hope.
Yeah, it is. I had 100 points, and you only had 88 this weekend.
Oh, man.
I was on you then, dog. I was on you. The question is, how did you bet individually? That's the key. I made some cash on the side, dog.
I got my ass whooped on the side.
I think I bet on you one day. Weren't you on the betting sheet one day?
Yeah, I was on there a couple of days. One day not so good, and one day I think I had Lester, and I whooped his ass that day. So it was.
I think I had you that day. Our boy Joe Newstreet, Joe told me to check it out. Said you were swinging it, so I had to go with you that day. So yeah,
we
this
talked about this
right here. Beat a couple dudes right here. A little chip in piece.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Where were you, in the grandstands?
You pretty much. A little 9-iron knock into the hill, and every once in a while they go in where you're looking. I got pretty lucky on that. I had a couple good chip ins, a couple good long putts, but man, I tell you what, that course. First of all, the LPGA girls can flat out hit it. The girls I played with were just awesome to watch, and then I had to beat Baumgartner. I always have a little individual deal going with him, so I had to beat him. But it's 4 days, so some of these dudes get tired day 3, day 4. So. But great fun tournament. My goal was actually to get to 100, brother. I was grinding hard, man. That wind kicked up. I couldn't get there.
Yeah, I was a popsicle on Sunday because I went off so early. So yeah, I feel you. I played awful on Sunday, but that's a whole different. I'm glad you had a great time. It's one of the great events, and of course, a baseball player won, right, Jeff McNeil. So we're proud of him. But I have to ask you. I have to ask you this. I mean, I look at your numbers. I obviously faced you many times. And I know it's Hall of Fame day, and I know we talked about this a little bit earlier last time we had you on, but seriously, how the fuck are you not in the Hall of Fame?
Well, first of all, if I knew it was Hall of Fame day, I probably wouldn't have come on with y'all. That tells you how much I pay attention to it. So it was in our rearview mirror 10 years ago. Like I said, who was it? My teammate in Boston, Jimmy Rice, he got voted in on year 10, and I called him to congratulate him, but I also said, how did you get better in 10 years? Did you go play semi-pro ball and hit another 100 homers or something somewhere? I mean, come on. He should have been in on the first one. Either you're in or you're not. So, again, like you guys know, I don't know if you guys read my statement way back when. That stuff was in my rearview mirror. The Hall of Fame is not going to change my life one way or the other. It wasn't a reason why I played. As you guys know, I played because I love the game. The first couple of years, I busted my butt because I knew I was going to change the landscape of my family, my mom, my sisters. We came from just about nothing, and I was going to change that. Then after that, it was back to like at the University of Texas when we won the national championship, beat Alabama. It was about winning championships. Once I got my feet firmly in the ground and realize, hey, I can play with these guys, and this is going to be a great living. But again, my pops died when I was 9. I was raised by 2 strong-willed women, my mother and my grandmother, my granny always said, "Hey, if you're going to be a ditch digger, be the best damn ditch digger in the country." So that's why I get a little offended when people mention, or you're out somewhere and somebody, "Hey, you silver spoon, athletes," then I say, hold on a second. If you're going to mouth off, understand what you're mouthing off about. I mean, like my high school coach, the good thing we only lived 3 miles from my high school because I didn't have a car. I threw my backpack on. I ran home after school or when we had practices on the weekend. My mom worked 3 jobs. She was an accountant by day. Uh, I helped her stock coolers in the afternoon, and we cleaned office building at night for a little extra money so I could have a badass red glove and a sweet pair of new cleats. So that, those kind of things are what our foundation is, and the people we come from. So um, those are the things. My teammates, you guys, the guys I played against. Like you said, you guys know, most of you guys know me off the field. I like to have fun, do a little DJing, of course, and on the field, man, it was game on. I don't, I faced some of my teammates from college, and I know they wanted to hit one back off my kneecap, and I wanted to punch them out. So that's just good competition. I'll take you to dinner later.
Let me ask you this. This will be my last question for the Hall of Fame because I've had this ongoing question for a lot of years now since playing with Cincinnati, getting to know the guy, Pete Rose. I mean, this is it goes with everything. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. It's one of those things where I feel like once he passes away, then eventually they might do something. But do you think he should be in the Hall of Fame right now?
Yeah, don't do it after he passes away. Either do it, but that's ridiculous to do that. Let him
Yeah.
enjoy it. I mean, it was similar to when when you say that, is when I was in London and I went and saw Tina Turner play, and it was unbelievable. And I was asking everybody because Tina Turner just passed away a couple weeks before that, and I said, please tell me that she was able to get over here and see this unbelievable show you guys did of her life. And they said, absolutely. She came like 3 times before she passed. So same thing with Pete. Pete should be in. With all the, well, you can get betting on your phone now in the dugout. Probably
Exactly.
get it on the iPad in the dugouts now. The way there's betting on if the sun's going to come up or not. So Pete was a great player, and but yeah, I mean, no, that's obvious.
Hey, Roger, I got some fan questions for you. So Dave said, can you ask Roger his opinion of the way that Yamamoto trains? Now, obviously, you got a lot going on in your life, so I don't know if you know how he trains. It's in a very unique way, but the Dodgers' big signing Yamamoto has a very unique javelin-like process that he uses. And you can stop me. I can help you out a little bit here on what he does because he's all about flexibility, repeatable delivery. He's 5'9". I think he's like what 100. Well, he's listed like 170. He's more like 150-ish, I
Yeah,
would say. But he just
yeah,
signed the biggest free agent pitching contract of all time. So, do you
crazy.
know about his training? Have you seen anything?
So I have seen some videos on him. I was on a show a couple weeks ago, and we visited about him and Otani coming back from his second Tommy John as a hitter. AJ, you guys, and Todd, you guys will know. But I thought the guy was 5'10". His split is like a change up split. Way back when on Team USA, I went over to the Team USA. I pitched in the Tokyo Dome, and 2 days before we had a couple of practices, and my agents had set up. There was about 13 well-known Japanese pitchers that came over. They wanted to see how I held the split finger and how to throw it properly. It was hard to teach a lot of them. They have smaller hands, so they kept shoving the baseball back in the very back of their hand. It became a fork ball. The other guys were hooking a seam. And when you hook a seam and throw your split or your fork, whatever you call it, when it comes out and when you hook a seam, it knuckles a little bit. And you hitters are able to read that. And talking to Pujols and different guys like that, they were able to see something. Contreras with the Yankees, he hooked it, and it tugs a little more. There's obviously more friction, and it pulls at your elbow ligaments. So you got to be careful with that. Same thing when I talked about Otani, not getting off the subject here, but Otani, I'm going to be interested to see how he swings, because in talking to hitters that have had Tommy John, when they put their pinky on the knob, instead of having to almost choke up maybe a half inch, there's some stuff going on too there when you swing and miss. So that's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, going all the way back, he's got a split change. He's good. He's good north and south, which is where the strike zone is now. They pinch you east and west. The other thing is, and they said, what I heard is not going to be a problem because I guess he's practiced with it, but the MLB ball is bigger than the Japanese baseball. I know that to be the fact. I do my work with the Astros. When Mr. Crane and I flew out, I think it was Tanaka. We went out to LA. You could hear a pin drop when I gave him a signed Major League Baseball, and I said, "You understand this ball's bigger than the one you've been throwing?" And you could hear a pin drop in that room, and so it'll be interesting to see. I'll watch the guys. I mean, you can't. Like Maddox said, Greg Doggy told me at Tahoe, he said the contracts they're giving out now, they couldn't afford us. And so you can't really, it seems like the going rate right now. I mean, so who knows? And they're going to have to lower a quality start's going to be 4 innings and probably 5 or 6 runs. The only way to combat that with all the new rule changes is to tie your DH to the starter. So that'll force a starter to go 6 innings. So when you get to the 7th inning, all bets are off. You can pull your starter, but you're going to have a manager come up and say, "Hey, I need you to go more than 3 innings tonight, or we're going to lose our DH." So that's one thing with all these other rule changes that they have. And while we're on that subject, on a good note, I always tease everybody: quit referring to the foul pole as a foul pole. If you hit it, it's a fair pole. Come on.
That's good. I might use that one for sure.
It falls in the same category, boys. Is why is there an expiration date on sour cream? Makes no sense.
Yeah, why do you park in a
why do you park in a driveway and drive on a parkway? Let's go. Come on, I'm here all day if you guys need me.
Another fan question from a guy named William. Who's your favorite pitcher right now to watch? Besides those 2 that we just talked about, is there a guy that's like, yeah, I'm gonna sit here and watch this guy pitch these 6 or 4 or 5 or 6 innings?
4, 5, or 6.
I love here at home watching the guys a little bit older. Verlander, Scherzer, Garrett Cole. I love watching these guys go out and try and eat innings. There's some young ones out there that are up and coming, but again, like you said, you just try and encourage them